Hi guys! So, yay! Here I am back in my old bedroom. I am back here for winter break. I finished up school this past week and came home, and now I'm here and I get to be here for like a whole month almost. Or at least be on break for a whole month before I go back. So I figured today, in the spirit of being done with finals and being done with my first semester of college, that I would film a video that I've been meaning to do for a little while now. Is I've asked you guys to leave me questions about college, about LMU, about my first semester, but mainly about LMU and what the school is about and what the school is. And so I have some of those questions today, and also I'm just going to kind of give you guys a generic overview of the school, of my experience in my first semester, and yeah, if you hear a thing in the background, that's my dog. He's right over here on my bed. I have my little Christmas tree in the background. Yeah, whatever. Getting in the spirit. Let's jump right in. Okay, so I have my questions here on my phone. If I look at my phone, just know that that's what I'm doing. So first I'm just going to kind of give you some general frequently asked questions info that I have found online. I researched and found. LMU stands for Loyola Marymount University. It is in Los Angeles, California. It is about 10 minutes from LAX, right in the heart of that area, Westchester, Culver City. It's about 15-20 minutes from Santa Monica, Venice Beach, that sort of area. Really great area. I love being there. It's so nicely located because there's a whole bunch just around it. Like, there's so much to find. There's a mall like 5-10 minutes from the school. There's Target. There's a whole bunch of places to eat. There's an In-N-Out right by it, which is great. Yeah, the airport's really close. The beaches are really close. It's just a really great area, I think, in Los Angeles to be located if you want to do stuff and for us to get out and explore and whatever. So it is a private institution. It is Jesuit based, which is, I think, a huge part of what these questions that I'm going to be answering today are about. But like I said, with the private institution, class sizes are smaller. So the average class size is about 21. There's an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio, but I really liked that, just because you could have just more discussion and more participation in the class to get, if your teacher does participation points or whatever, or just in general to like be able to participate and actually, like, a lot of the classes I feel like more discussion that way. They're a lot more engaging. Your teachers will actually know your name rather than you just be a number in a 3,000 student lecture hall. They actually learn your name. They learn a little bit about you. There's just, I think we had to fill out at the end, we had to fill out these, like, for every class, for every teacher, you had to fill out like an evaluation. And a lot of like what you could like comment or whatever, a lot of what I said about what was beneficial was the fact that like the teacher was super engaging, and that made the material and made the class a lot more intriguing. The content was just better. It was just a greater experience to have when the class was smaller, so that you could have that relationship. It is ranked, it's number 3 top ranked university in the West, so that's really cool. I think we're ranked like number 10 on most engaged students, and something like similar to that in happiest students, which is super awesome. I genuinely feel like LMU is a school that everyone is just so nice. Everyone's so nice to everyone. Everyone wants to be there, and I think that's a huge thing about college. Is it's different from high school because everyone wants to be there. Like, no one forces you to go to school. No one forces you to go to college. No one forces you to get that education. Post high school, your education is put into your hands. So everyone that's on a college campus, primarily, I will say, obviously there's a few that probably are there and aren't happy and don't want to be there, but for the most part, everyone you meet wants to be there, and they want to be in classes. They want to be in your classes, the classes that you choose. You get to choose your classes, which are awesome because you can do things that you actually are interested in. Like this semester, I took a women's studies course, and now I'm super interested in the material and the content, and I think I'm going to add that as a minor. And so yeah, you're actually in classes that you want to be in with students that want to be there, and that's super awesome. So everyone's just so much nicer and happier, and it's really cool to see, and everyone's super engaged, and it's just awesome when you work on projects. Like, everyone wants to do the work. Like, I mean, no one ever was like, oh my god, I want to do this project so bad, but like, you know, like, everyone is willing to do it. You don't have to force anyone, pull anyone's hand. It's a lot better. It's super great. Other general FAQ info, There's 150 clubs and organizations on campus. Fraternities and sororities are part of that. We have 22 fraternities and sororities total. Let's see, we have 53 study abroad programs, which I'm super excited to study abroad. I really want to study abroad in London. I think the first or second semester of my junior year, and I also think I want to do a summer abroad program. I am a communication studies major, and so I'm really interested in media, and I think I really want to do a summer abroad program in Washington, D.C., because I think that's just like the perfect place to do journalism and media is like Washington, D.C. I promise I know my school, I needed to get these facts right. 83% of our students receive financial aid or on some sort of scholarship. I'm actually on scholarship at LMU, and the scholarship I have is called the Father Arupe Scholarship, and I actually just received it through merit and through my application. Like, I didn't do an additional supplement, it was just they reviewed my application, they read my writing, my essay, whatever, and gave me the scholarship based on merit, and that was amazing, super great. I have it for all 4 years as long as I keep my GPA up. I receive, I don't know if this is too much to reveal information-wise, but I receive about a third of my tuition is covered with my scholarship, which is super awesome and super great. Lastly, for FAQ, we have 22 Division I and varsity sports. We have Division I basketball, which is awesome. We don't have any football, and I think that's the biggest thing that people like don't like about that or whatever, and I think they like compare that to school pride. It's like, oh, if you don't have football, you don't get to tailgate, you don't get to football games. And so I will say I went to USC this semester because I have a friend over there, and I got tickets to those games and went to those games to get my football taste. But honestly, even without the football at LMU, I still think there's a lot of school pride still, and there's just so many other ways to like to have that school pride and be a Lion, and you don't really need the football in order to do that. I mean, yes, it's a great event, and coming from the Midwest, football's a huge thing. That's why I went over to USC for the football games. But it doesn't make or break your college experience, and it's still amazing even without the football team. But yes, we still have soccer, we still have tennis, we still have track, we have rowing, we have basketball, which is Division I. So yeah, we still have a lot of sports that you can support and go to the events for free with your LMU like ID card, and yeah, so you'll still have a lot of events to go to, and it'll be really awesome. So the next section I kind of wanted to talk about real quick before I jump into the video, the questions that people ask me specifically. I just wanted to talk about kind of like post-grad stuff, because I know that's like a thing people like talk about, like, oh, like, will LMU provide me opportunities? In terms of LMU students, like graduates, 60% of the graduates can go off and work. 26% go to grad school, 9% seek employment, about 5% go into service work, and a little less than 1% go into the military. Post freshman year, about 90% of the students will stay on for a second year, which is super awesome and super good. And then with that 90%, the graduation rate is about 68.9%. So really good. We have a really high population of like total like senior, junior, undergrads. People continue on. That's like another thing. Like I said, people want to get their education. People want to be there. So you'll see a lot more than I feel like most like state or public schools. You'll see a lot, like a higher percentage of people that will stay on for their second year and continue on to graduate and that sort of thing. Okay, so that kind of wraps up basically the general info I just kind of wanted to talk about, get out there for LMU. Now I have a couple questions that people have asked me through Instagram and through YouTube that I'm going to talk about. So, at Jen Rod, I think her name is Jennifer, on Instagram asked 3 questions. The first question she asked is, what did you get on your ACT/SAT that got you accepted? I don't remember specifically. Yeah, I took the ACT a couple times. LMU requires that you submit the ACT with a writing supplement, like essay part, in one sitting. So I'm pretty sure, or at least that's the score I submitted, because I think maybe my other colleges that I was applying to, they required the ACT take it in one sitting with writing supplement, so that's the one that I continued and like just submitted to LMU, but I'm pretty sure that's like required. I probably should have looked that up, I'm sorry. But I got a 32, and yeah, so I got a 32 on my ACT, that was with the writing supplements, and then on my SAT, I was able to submit my super score for the SAT, and so I got a 2060. Yes, so those are my scores that I applied to LMU with. But honestly, I just kind of want to say, like, yes, that's a huge part. I know, like, the ACT, SAT, your GPA, like, that's so important getting into colleges, but I just want to say, like, it's not everything, and I think LMU, like, super duper stresses that, is, like, that's not all they look at. They look at your other grades, they look at your other merits, they look at your activities, they look at your essay supplement. Like, I'm pretty sure my essay supplement for the LMU application is what I got my scholarship for primarily. Like, yeah, like, they look at the whole, one of the, like, we have 3 things that LMU talks about, and that's the, like, encouragement of learning, the promotion of service and faith, I think I said that right, and the education of the whole person. And that one is my favorite one, the education of the whole person, because it, like, they really want to encourage your whole person, like, whether you're both creative and, like, really intellectual, like, whatever you're interested in. Like, I do communications, but I'm also a dance minor, and then I want to add a women's studies minor. Like, they're all so different things, and they really want to educate you as your whole person, no matter who you are, what your skin color, your sexuality, your race. Like, that's a huge thing about LMU, and that they can also, when that goes into, like, your application, is, like, they're not just gonna look at your scores, your one thing, your grades, your GPA. Like, they're gonna look at the whole person, the whole you, and accept you based on that. But I do know that that is a super important thing, so I did want to say, like, my scores or whatever, and let you know that that's what I got accepted on. But also, when you get to college, that stuff, like, no longer matters. Like, yeah, I think I've talked about that with my friends. It's kind of just, like, we talked about what we got on the ACT, SATs, and, like, our GPAs, but, like, when you get to college, like, everyone is there. Like, you're already there. Like, you got accepted, everyone's there. So, like, no longer, like, that comparison doesn't matter. I know that's, like, in high school, it was such an important thing. Like, everyone's like, what'd you get? What'd you get? What'd you get? Like, and, like, that's a huge thing. But once you go to your college and you're at your college, like, those stuff no longer matters, because everyone's there. Everyone got accepted, everyone got in, you're there. So it just doesn't matter anymore. But anyway, I know that was a question. I know I kind of went on a tangent. I know that was your question, so I hope I answered that. The second question she asked was it a hard change going from Kansas to California? I would say a little, I mean, obviously a little bit, I would say, because you're moving halfway across the country. But I kind of have grown up in, like, knowing LA. I've gone to LA multiple times on vacations and with my family, and just for different summer intensives I did with dance, just different events. I've gone to LA, so I knew LA a little bit better than I think, like, someone that just, like, went there, like, a little bit better than the average person. Sometimes I think I knew a little bit more information than some of my friends who've lived there all their life. I was like, hey, fun fact, and, like, knew some stuff. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I do think it was, like, obviously it's a little bit of an adjustment because you're moving halfway across the country. It puts a little bit more distance between you and your family and friends, but I think that was actually a good thing for me, because I found that I miss my family more than I feel like if I went to a school 45 minutes away or in state, because, like, I'll actually, like, call them and talk to them a little bit more, and, like, text them a lot, and, like, FaceTime and, like, whatever, because I'm like, oh, I miss you, and, like, I don't get to see you every day, and I can't just drive 45 minutes to go home and see you. Like, it makes you miss them a little bit more. Also, I think it helps with friends, because it forces you to make new friends and do new things and try new things, because you're halfway across the country, you're in a new territory, you don't know anyone, so you have to talk to people, versus if you stay in state and go to a school more locally, with people you know, you might stick primarily with those people a little bit more, and, like, hang out with them and never really branch out, and, like, you'll make a few new friends. But, like, I just know that, I don't mean to bash on anyone, but I just know that, like, I've seen, like, on Instagram and just, like, through social media, like, a lot of people from high school that went to the same colleges as their friends, like, have stuck with their friends, which sort of makes sense to me. I get that, because it's, like, but I don't know, like, college is a new time to, like, start fresh and start over and meet new people, try new things, have new experiences, you change. And I just feel like if you're stuck with the same people you were from high school and, like, only stick with them, then that kind of limits you and restricts you. So like moving across the country, moving away really forced me to like make new friends and like have those new experiences. So I'm really glad that I did that. But I will say, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit hard coming and you're like that Midwestern gal and everyone's like, oh, you're from Kansas and like whatever, and like I think that's a little bit of an adjustment. Also just the weather, but like also the weather in LA. Like, sorry, coming home this past weekend and coming off the plane and it was 22 degrees in Kansas. I was like, I kind of want to go back to California where it's 60 degrees and there's like a polar vortex or something like that sweeping through the Midwest this week. So I'm like, why did I come home? Or like, why? I don't know. But yeah, so I will say it's a little bit of an adjustment, but you'll get used to it and you'll love it completely if you come from anywhere else other than the West Coast and go to a West Coast school. I mean, it's great. You'll love it, trust me. And then the last question that Jennifer asked was, how big is LMU on activities and do you do any? I feel like activities like kind of are a huge part of just like any college experience in general, because it's like, it gives you something to do, because like you do your activities in high school, you know, you go to your school from 8 to 3, you do like your sport after school, you do a club after school, you come home, or then you have like a later club in the evening, a later event in the evening. So like, you know, it's a little bit more balanced, but it's really cool in college because it's like some of those activities can become built into your schedule. And that like for me, dance was my activity in high school and now I'm a dance minor. And so like one of my actual classes that I take is dance. And so it's kind of cool how activities will be incorporated. But then of course there's also, like I said, our 150 plus clubs and organizations that LMU has on campus for you to get involved in, which is super awesome because I feel like it really will once again force you to meet new people and help you branch out and try new things, but then also it will like give you something to do other than your studies. It'll kind of break it up a little bit more, give you something like more creative to do if you're a very like intellectual person, or like have like more of those like really like academic classes rather than more of like those creative classes like me. I have some dance classes. So in terms of what I do, I am a student ambassador, which is a volunteer program that LMU has that you can get nominated for and then you apply for and you go through this whole application process. So basically as a student ambassador, you help out and like represent the school. You can help do group tours, you can do congratulatory calls, call up admitted students and congratulate them. You can host students for if they want to come do a visit, overnight visits, basically just anything. It's a volunteer program, so anything that like the admissions office, undergrad admissions office needs help with, they'll reach out to the student ambassadors and we basically help out and be representative of the school and of the student population. I'm also, I recently got hired as a spring semester campus tour guide, so I'm super excited to go back next semester and start that. I'll have to do some training for that and learn the ropes, but then I get to do the campus tour, so if you guys ever come to LMU and do a visit, maybe I'll be your tour guide. That'd be super awesome. But yeah, so I recently got hired for that. And then in the spring, LMU does spring semester rush, which I actually really, really like because it gives you a semester to like adjust and like come to the school and like not your first week right off the bat be thrown into this crazy event that is rush. And you can like make friends and like kind of get settled before you go through that whole process. So in the spring, I will be rushing for a sorority, so I'm super excited to do that. I'm also a little bit involved in the campus ministry that is on campus. I went on a retreat with the campus ministry back in September, and then this winter break, actually in January, beginning of January, before I head back to school for classes, I'm going on a mission trip to Haiti and Dominican Republic with campus ministry, so that's kind of another activity that I am involved in. So yeah, I really enjoy. Like I said, it really is nice to be involved in something because it gives you something to do, break up from your schedule, gets you a little bit more involved, gets you in on the campus. If you get hired for a job, you know, make a little bit of money. So yeah, so those are kind of what the activities are like at LMU. So Jennifer, I hope I answered all of your questions. Thank you so much for those ones. The next 3 questions come from Amina N on YouTube. She submitted these questions to me. She first asked, is LMU a religious environment? Well, I guess I could just read all of her questions because they all kind of go together. She asked, is LMU a religious environment? Are the students more religious? And is it a liberal or conservative school? So basically, this is like a huge part of LMU that I will address. is the Jesuit identity that is on campus. So LMU, Loyola Marymount University, is a Jesuit school, which means it is Catholic based, and so I think those are in the fundamentals, those are in the foundations. That's how the school came about, that's how the school started. So of course it is a part of the school. Like, it's not something that you can just like push off. However, in terms of how that affects the students, we always like to say, the phrase that we like to say, and I've learned through my student ambassador and my campus tour guides, is like talking about how we promote this and talk about this to prospective students, is that it is present but never pressured. So the identity, the Jesuit identity, the Catholic identity, the environment is present on campus, but you're not pressured to be a part of it. About 50% of the student population is not even Catholic. They're non-denominational, they don't identify with being Catholic, they're just not Catholic. So like, it's not a completely Catholic school. Half the student population isn't. We have a chapel on campus, and like I said, we have a campus ministry that I'm a part of, and a lot of students are, but you're not forced to be a part of it. Really, it gets to the point where when you come to college, your faith and your religion, your beliefs, whatever, is put into your hands, so you can do as much or as little with it as you want. No one's going to force you to go to church. No one's going to force you to do be part of the religious environment. Like, no one forces you to do it. It's all in your hands. It's completely what you make of it. And so it's not pressured. Present, but not pressured. And so, yeah, that's something I think we like super duper stress to people, is like, and honestly, even me growing up, I did grow up as Catholic. I was raised Catholic, and even then, like, I've not been like super diligent. I will admit, like, I've not been super diligent about going to mass every week. But I have like found little ways to get myself involved in the campus ministry and still make it a part of my life, but that's how I chose. I chose to do that. I chose to like make it as much as I want a part of my life, as much as a college experience as I want. So it's really into your hand. In terms of, are the students more religious? Like I said, about 50% of the students aren't even Catholic, and so you'll meet a mix of both religious and non-religious students. And then lastly, for your question, is it a liberal or conservative school? When I answer this question, I kind of would say, for me, coming from the Midwest, I would like to say that LMU is a little bit more liberal, just because it is in Los Angeles, it's in California, and yeah, so I would say it's a little bit more liberal, and that's just primarily what I was surrounded with, especially in this past semester with the election. But of course, you will have, there are conservatives, there's still like a mixture, like you'll see them on campus, they're still a part of it, but no one's like judging anybody or, you know, making fun of anybody for your beliefs. Like, that's just who you are, that's just like naturally what it is. But like I said, like, I would like to say that like what I saw this semester, primarily being in the state, being in that city, being on that campus, coming from a place in the Midwest, I would like to say it's just a little bit more liberal. But once again, that's not going to like largely influence your college experience, and because I feel like anywhere you go in the country, you're gonna have your mixture of liberals, conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, whatever, libertarians on campuses. Like, you're just gonna experience that discourse. And with the election this semester, this first semester of college, that was a crazy thing. I think it was both a blessing and a curse to have my first semester of college, to experience that. But yeah, so I think anywhere you go, you're just gonna have that discourse, and that's just kind of life. But I don't think it will make or break, and I don't think it will be a huge part of you being at LMU or you choosing LMU or anything like that. Okay, so that is all the questions that I had submitted and all kind of the info I wanted to give. So just basically to wrap up, I had the most amazing first semester, the most amazing college experience, first start of my college experience. I made so many new friends, I went through so many different changes, I experienced so many different things. I love being in Los Angeles. It's an amazing city. It's a vibrant, eclectic city. It's beautiful. There's so many hidden treasures, hidden wonders. It's not completely the La La Land that you see of like moving to LA and seeing movie stars and going to the beach every weekend. That doesn't exist. You do just see like the normal, like whatever, like let's go to Target on the weekend, we're sleeping in, staying in the dorm all day. Like it's not completely La La Land, but I do enjoy being in a city where there is so much to offer, there's so much to do. I made the most amazing friends. I miss them so much right now. Because actually I don't know if I mentioned this, but I got to come home a week early for winter break, because all of my finals were finals that were just papers that are submitted electronically, or I had my tests or my presentations the past week, the week before finals. And so I was like, oh, I get to come home early. So I'm actually home a week early. So all my friends are still back on campus, so I miss them. But I'm also super excited to be home. But yeah, I've made the most amazing friends. I've experienced the most amazing things. I've seen a lot. I've learned a lot. And yeah, I just had a really exciting first semester. I really enjoyed my courses and my classes, and I'm excited for next semester. I'm taking some new classes that I'm excited about. And yeah, I think that's really cool that each semester you get to like start over and start fresh and learn new things, have new professors, have a new schedule. I won't have Friday classes next semester, which I'm super happy about. Me and like 3 of my other friends, we all don't have Friday classes. We only have Monday, Wednesdays, and Tuesday, Thursdays. And so we're super excited because like every weekend will be a 3-day weekend. And so I told them, I was like, we need to use that to our advantage. We need to use that. We need to actually go out and do stuff and explore the city and do things with our Friday and not just sleep in. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, so I just had a most amazing first semester ever. I love LMU. I love Los Angeles. LMU was not my first choice or my top choice, but I'm so glad I'm there. It has truly become my home. And I know it's where I belong and it's where I fit in better. It's the vibe that I want for my college experience. It's just like, it's great for me. It's what I want. I've met the most amazing people, and they're who I want to like spend the next 4 years with. I can totally see us like moving into a little apartment together with me and my friends, like living together. Like it wasn't my top choice. I like to say that. I'd like to mention that. And like I think that's important for people to know, is because it's like it wasn't my top choice. But I ended up there, and there's something in my gut, something in my heart, something in my soul that led me there, and I'm so glad that I'm there. And I just had the most amazing first semester, and I can't wait for next semester and the next 4 years. And for any of you guys that are prospective students, I really hope you like consider LMU, look at LMU, apply even, come out and do a visit. Maybe I can be your tour guide. So yeah. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys!